Hey guys, it's week 40, and just like a pregnancy, I finally have something beautiful to show for all of my hard work. Let's get into it. The major announcement this week is that I got my first recurring revenue. It was one of my Wix signups, and it's a $7 a month plan. So I can't tell you how good this feels to finally hit this mark. The first dollar is definitely the hardest, by far, the absolute hardest in the journey of building a successful company. To my fellow parents out there with more than one kid, you may feel me on this. Having your first child is usually the biggest change in your life. There are whole new skills of being a human that you have to learn, and change to your daily, monthly, yearly routine is very real. Having your second or third child is also tough. It amplifies the chaos and the stretching of your attention. And every little thing you try to do, like leave the house to do something, gets a little bit more complicated. But it's nothing like going from 0 kids to 1 kid. And the first dollar is just like that. The next milestone is $100 of recurring revenue. It shows that the first dollar wasn't a fluke. And then after that, 1K is a very happy place to be, but 10K shows that we have a very serious business. So since I launched on Wix last week, I've had 33 signups, and I'm getting very consistent signups on like a daily basis. I'm still on the new apps page on Wix, so there's a chance that this will drop off pretty hard when I leave that, so it's kind of yet to be seen how sticky this is going to be. This somewhat validates my idea of trying these marketplaces. If you watched my earlier videos, you'll remember that trying these marketplaces was an experiment built out of the frustration of not being able to find customers. And I thought going to a marketplace might help me because customers are there. And so far, I'd call this a big success, at least on the Wix side of things. Shopify is something I'll talk about in a minute. It's a little hard to tell so far because I haven't broken out the spreadsheet yet, but it looks like I'm converting about 10% of my page views into free trials. And that's with having no reviews, so that's a really good sign. So let's talk about validation here. 33 signups, 1 paying customer, and about 30 jobs have been created on the platform outside of my tests, and 10 candidates have applied for those jobs. There's real validation here, but let's break it down. 1 paying customer means that somebody saw enough value here to actually pay me. That cannot be understated because that's a major hurdle. It shows that my price point was reasonable and that the value I'm portraying is coming through. But it's also only 1 person. They could have been feeling generous and saw that I'm an indie dev shop. They could have had a misconception about what my app is actually capable of doing, and they may cancel soon. I want to see this repeat itself, but so far this is very real validation that I'm onto something. 33 signups is also a strong validation that my pitch is intriguing and Dropboard is coming off as professional looking. I'm getting consistent signups every day now, and that makes me feel like I've definitely outlined a problem that's resonating with people. And 30 jobs created from those signups is really reassuring. It means that the people didn't just like my pitch, but they also dug into the product and actually started using it. It's also validation that my product is user-friendly enough for people to actually get going with it, and I haven't received a single support email so far yet. Overall, I would say that Dropboard is really on its path to proving itself. The growth factor is kind of unclear so far, but I definitely feel solid that I've landed on a problem that I can solve for people. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. The sparks have finally lit this tiny fire, and now I have a chance to nurture it, however small the fire may be. And I'm good at this part because I care so much about every signup. I want everybody to have an amazing experience. So the first thing I needed to do this week was get my welcome emails sending. I hadn't written them yet because I didn't need them yet. I'm doing just-in-time building. The welcome email needs to be friendly, and it needs to be from me personally. I really want people to reply to this and engage with me so that A, they can see that I'm a real person that cares about their success, and B, they might give me feedback or insight on catching the next user. Because I had about 15 people who had already signed up before I had started writing these welcome emails, I had to send those emails to those folks manually, which is totally fine. So just in Gmail, compose, copy paste, the email that I've been working on. And it gave me a chance to write this email for those people specifically. So it gave me somebody specific to think about when I'm writing that email, and that made it a better email, more personal. Then I needed a thank you for your purchase email to my first subscriber. I did the same thing where I wrote them a personal email in Gmail and used that email content in my app to build out something automated. In Wix and Shopify, I wanted to seize this moment to ask them to leave a review on those marketplaces. And then for native signups, although I'm still kind of waiting on validation, I want to include a summary of the payment terms so that they get confirmation on how much and when they're going to pay me. I want to do this instead of sending them like a monthly receipt email because it kind of strikes a balance point between being upfront and transparent with my customers, which I care a lot about, and not necessarily reminding them every month of something that they could cancel. And I want reviews for native signups as well. So I signed up for g2.com, which is a review service for software. So once I get approved from that, I will put that link in this payment confirmation email and hopefully get people who sign up natively to leave their reviews for me. I also want to send an email when someone's trial is about to expire. This is my chance to try and save them by answering any questions that they might have or listening to feedback in case there's a missing feature or a value point for them that's easily solvable. And then with any of these emails, they come directly from me. So if anybody responds, I want to reply back ASAP and try to wow them with my energy. These people are the clearest path towards growing the service, so I want to make the absolute most of them. And I can tell you from past experience that being super responsive and showing that you care makes a huge impact with customers' experience. So some of the work I did this week to try to spread the word about Dropboard was submitting Dropboard to a bunch of startup sites. My hope here is to start gaining organic traffic. Some of the places I submitted to were startups.fyi, Awesome Indie, Indie Lottery, and Owly. I keep looking for feedback on Slack and Twitter and groups that I'm in, and I successfully booked a couple meetings next week with my target customer persona so I can continue my learning and validation. And then just a quick update on Shopify. If you guys have been following me, you know the kind of hell that I've been through with this, dealing with their marketplace ecosystem. After weeks of being in limbo, I finally got approved, and then this week I got delisted because of some problem with my app's functionality. So frustrating. They had made a bunch of updates to their system, so I updated my app to match them, and that process helped me uncover a small bug, which was the root of the problem. So ultimately, this was indeed my problem, which is a relief, because when you run into something that's a problem with the system, you can get stuck and stonewalled and just really trapped. When it's your own fault, you can hopefully fix it. Okay, ideas about where to go next. My head is like swimming this week with so many thoughts. So I'm actually looking for some help at this point. This is going to be a sounding board for, what should I do next? I have this idea of making Dropboard a full applicant tracking system and going head to head with some really big players, but making it a very simple app that's just easy to use. The things that excite me about this is what I did with Mailshake. I didn't build one like small app or several small apps. I built a major platform to directly compete with big players, and it went viral because it was deep and it was good. So with Dropboard, I have validation that the product is strong. It's unclear if that validation would extend to something deeper like a full applicant tracking system, but it's a really good sign in that direction. On the other hand, going deep on something like this could take me 3 to 4 months. And what if we find out that the product still isn't deep enough to pull customers away? Do we keep going and add even a couple more months to that timeline? And what if we do all of that building and then we get crickets? That's a huge amount of time wasted. At the same time, this is what startups are about, taking risks and trying to evaluate what's the best risk to take. So if I was to go down this path, here's kind of a possibility of maybe how I would lay that out. First of all, I would start some SEO work right now, some search engine optimization work, so that maybe months later after I had built that product, that SEO could start actually bringing in traffic. That's why I haven't done SEO so far, is because I needed an idea that was strong enough that I could actually commit to building some content to get that traffic. I could build out a full prototype in Figma, which would take me just a fraction of the time, and conduct validation interviews, not only with the customers I have, maybe if I'm lucky, but I could even just pay people for their time just so I could get some actual attention and some very solid interviews. And then maybe what I could do is call what I have today Dropboard Slim, and then say I'm building Dropboard Pro and tease it on the site and say, I could talk about AI features that are coming, I could show screenshots, and I could showcase a much richer product. And then potentially I could even do an AppSumo lifetime deal for what I have now, calling it Dropboard Slim. You guys may remember from past videos, this is how Mailshake got its first real big growth, was an AppSumo lifetime deal. So could I do a lifetime deal for what I have today while I'm building Pro and see if that generates some organic traffic and word of mouth? It would also help test the efficacy of doing an AppSumo deal these days. And maybe when Dropboard Pro is ready, that could be another AppSumo deal I could do. So part of my interviews next week that I have with some people is going to be to try to figure out if I should start walking down that path and what their reaction to it would be. Another idea would be to just hunker down and do some SEO right now on the product I have today. Like I said, I've not done that so far because I needed something solid that I'm going to stick with to invest that time. But my concerns about this are this is not my wheelhouse exactly, and I'm nervous about wasting months when I could be doing what worked really well for Mailshake, which was to just heads down, build something really great. So it could be a lost opportunity, and I could be mad at myself months later if those SEO efforts didn't really amount to much and I still didn't have a product to show for it. But then last night, I got a very interesting idea. Since I have a product that hosts job boards and lets people apply, what if I published my own free job board and just repurposed Dropboard to run it? It would take very little work to get that running because I've written basically 90% of that code so far. It would showcase the functionality of Dropboard and hopefully serve as an organic traffic driver for the product itself. So basically say, submit yourself to this free job board. By the way, do you want one of these for your website? It's really low friction for companies to submit their jobs to job boards. Everyone who's hiring is looking for ways to expand their reach in that candidate pool. And if you make it free, it should be a no-brainer to say, hey, do you mind if we post this job? I could even do the work for them if they wanted to, because I could find an existing job post and post it myself. But there are a ton of free job boards out there. So how am I supposed to stand out amongst them? Well, first of all, it wouldn't just be a job board. It would be an application taker. So companies would submit their jobs, and then all they would have to do is just wait for the emails to come in with PDF resumes ready to go. And then they can just reply to them. I could also niche this down and choose to only do this for startups and only for 100% remote jobs, and only jobs that offer transparent compensation. This lines up with my philosophies and appreciation of progressive companies, and it also focuses the target market. And to put a cherry on all of it, what if jobs were only allowed to be listed for 2 weeks? It would put a sense of urgency around it and also ensure that the jobs on the board never go stale. That kind of adds this exciting element to it and uniqueness of it. But what are the downsides to this? What if I can't keep those jobs filled? What if I try to do this and I just can't get companies to participate and I just have a bunch of no jobs available pages? And then I have to ask myself, is that it though? Is that the only downside? My philosophy on this kind of thing is to really dig into why you feel it could be bad if you fail. If the answer is it's going to cost you a lot of time, it's going to cost you a lot of money, it's going to take a hit to your reputation, something like that, that's a legit answer and it might not be worth investing in. But if the only thing that comes back is fear itself and that you might look bad, it's just fear for fear's sake at that point. And I have learned if that's the only reason for not doing something, you have to ignore it and just go for it. Okay, guys, that's it for this monumental week. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Please tell your friends about it. Please like and subscribe. We're getting close to the end of the year, so my next video might be kind of a wrap up and a summary of what's been going on this year. I'm really looking forward to putting something fun together for you guys. All right, thanks. See you later.